Hi, everybody. It's Alex Jarrett again with Technology Executives Club. I'm here with my good friend Tim Walter. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Good, Alex. Great seeing you. How are things
It-
going?
It's great. Great to see you again. And for those of you who don't know, Tim is in the Chicago area and he's CIO of a company called Edward Don
Yep.
and Company. Edward Don is an international equipment and supply company for restaurants. If you always want to know where those fry manufacturers make or where the stove from, Edward Don is where they get all this stuff.
Yep.
And
They get it from us and we help them design it and we make sure that you got a knife, fork, a spoon, and a plate to eat off of.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I don't know if I ever told you about my family owned a restaurant. So I'm sure we used some Edward Don products back in the day. It was great. Because
Yeah.
prior to this, you've been a CIO for many, many years. Different companies. You were Randa. I think that's when we met. Randa Apparel. You were packaging wholesalers, Export Fitness, RMG Networks, Crosscom National. So you've actually been doing this for a little bit and in different industries, which I think is really cool. Many of them involve supply chain, which we're going to talk about in a minute. You're the 2025 CIO 100 Business Innovation Award winner. Congratulations.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you also won the Chicago CIO Orbie, the group that does this all over the country, major cities, CIO of the Year for Large Enterprise. So you're not new to winning these awards, but that's a really exciting thing that you continue to win these awards, right?
Oh, thank you, Alex. Yeah, and my first one was in 2010 when I was at Crosscom National with our new mapping technology back then. So these awards are really about our team. The teams really come together and they make these possible. They give the award to the leader, but it really is the team behind you that makes it possible.
That makes sense, and I appreciate you saying that because you've had so many great teams. Then that's an attribute to you as a team leader, I would imagine. You
Well,
know,
thank you. Yeah. Well, we're really trying to find those people who are motivated, excited, think out of the box. Even though I worked for a shipping supply company, we tried to think out of the box and really see what can we do to bring technology to solving our business problems. It's always about outcomes. It's always about business outcomes. Technology is a tool, and my teams really look and say, what can we do to improve the business as much as possible?
well, that makes a lot of sense. And coming off of that statement, I want to talk about one of your recent successes, and you're actually going to talk about it at the time we're recording this. We're about to have a summit, and you're going to talk about the whole project. But one of the awards, the national award that you won this year, was because of your work in AI. And at the time that we're recording this, I think MIT just published that 95% of AI projects fail. You've had some actual big success with AI already over at Edward Don. Why don't you tell us a little about what you all did and what made your approach different that allowed you to have this success?
Yeah, Alex, I really appreciate that. So, the team and I were talking to the business, and
Yeah.
that's where it always starts. What's the pain? What is it we're not being able to do? What can we do differently? And I really talk about, what are our processes? One thing that we saw is that our process to respond to customer RFPs, we work with hotels, we work with hospital, we work with large chain. So when you're doing an RFP or a really large quote, you're talking about hundreds or thousands of items
Yeah.
in which you want to be able to say, okay, here's our competitive quote or here's our competitive product. And in the restaurant industry, there are no standards. What you might call a cup, somebody might call a glass. What
I
you
didn't know
call as
that.
translucent, somebody else might call clear. And so you're looking at these RFPs and saying, wow, I really want to be able to give that customer the right product for the right price. Well, it's a very manual process. So as we looked at this, we were not responding to a lot. And we'll talk about this in November. We
Yeah.
would only respond to about 50 RFPs a year, but we would get hundreds of requests,
Really?
just very manual and time consuming. What we looked at is saying, okay, what can we do to improve this process? Again, it is about process. Think about how do I measure my pain points in the process? And as the team looked at it, they said, this is really where AI, a manual process, a very repetitive, data intensive process,
Yep.
could be utilized.
Manual,
And
data intensive. Yeah.
yeah. And so the team looked at it and said, well, instead of building it all from scratch, let's find parts of a platform and make it Donized. Can we find somebody who's
I like
got
that
an
phrase.
engine
Yeah.
and make it work the way Don needs it to work? So we found some partners with a company called Setvi.
Oh,
And Setvi using machine learning and some other technology, which we'll talk about in November. They gave us a foundation to build upon so that Don can say, let's bring our data in. Let's pull in data from the internet. Let's pull in data from our vendors. Let's pull in our unique data, competitor data. And then let's take that AI engine and make it unique at the customer level. One customer is usually different than another. So it's not one size fits all. But what's really unique, we were able to take a quote or an RFP, let's say 1,600 lines. In the past, it would take us 4 to 6 weeks of manual looking at each product. Is this the best product? Is this the right product, competitive? And using AI with about an 80% accuracy out of the pilot, now we're at about 86%, we were able to do it in 20 to 25 minutes.
Wow.
A major time savings.
How long would that have taken you before? Tell me that
4
again.
to 6 weeks.
Oh my
to do that comparative. So now
you just got to check for the 20% errors and all that.
Yeah, it's a managed by exception. But what's unique about the AI tool is everybody talks about AI. You got to constantly be reteaching the system. The LLM has to be make sure you have good data.
You're doing it as you go, right?
We're doing as you go, because one of the neat features of the system is it learns from our sales staff. The sales staff, as they're working those exceptions and verifying, they're training the engine, constantly training the engine, saying, no, that's not the right product. We should have looked at this product for this customer.
And it says, okay, I'll do it. It learns. It
learns. So if 20 different sales reps say no for a customer like Panera Bread, a large customer for us, this is the right knife, fork, spoon, disposable. The system learns that and says, well, that's what I should be selecting, not this other information, because there's a lot of products out there. So the system is constantly going to be evolving and improving. Again, we piloted it. We were about 80% accuracy. We're at 86%. We're only a few months in. We've got about a third of the staff using it. As we continue to grow, our hope is to really grow and expand and constantly be learning. That's the uniqueness. Now we also have the ability with the tool to take a picture of an item, and it'll help us identify it from imagery. So that's using some of the creative AI. We can also link to competitors or even some of our vendors' websites, and the system will learn the metadata. And then again, interacting with our sales staff gets smarter and smarter as time goes on.
First of all, I like the approach, because I've been, as you know, I talked to a lot of CIOs about this, and the approach that you took was to use AI as a teammate, as a team member. Right. And you didn't go out and say, hey, we're getting rid of everybody. That's not what this is about. This is about leveraging the AI to make everybody way more efficient, make it more effective. Right. And so you also
put people, get the people to focus on the value added activities versus the repetitive tasks.
Right. And so now you've got a team member that can do the work that most of them don't like doing anyways, I imagine. I used to be a rep. And and you've had some pretty big results. I know you're going to share the actual core details at the summit, but in terms of throughput, it's pretty high percentages, right?
Yeah, we're looking at a 400% response rate now. So one of our biggest challenges is we were limited in how much we could respond to. Well, that also limits how much you can win, what we could do for our customers. Now that we're able to respond much quicker, customers are happier. That's the ultimate goal. Make customers happy. So when they say, hey, can you guys help us out with this? They're not waiting a month. They're getting it next week.
Right away.
2 days. Right away. They're, excited. We have customers saying, I didn't know you could get back to me this quickly. And look, the product's correctly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And that will turn into, and you'll have to come in November to see it, but that'll actually turn into some really dollars for Don.
That's great. Well, it's a great project. What I also like about this is you're really future-proofing the company, because this is a critical capability in your overall business process, is to create these RFPs. And I know you're going to expand it into different areas. So you're really future-proofing. So down the road, as other companies start to do this type of thing, a new company can emerge from anywhere that could just say, hey, we're just going to buy and sell. We're going to use AI to do it. We'll just put an Amazon front end on it. Now you got a big competitor. But you're getting ready for that already.
We're getting ready for it. And one of the other exciting things is we have employees who've been with Don for a very long time, 40, 50 years. And they have a lot of knowledge in their heads. Yeah. This is the greatest training tool possible. The The sales
Yeah.
team is training the AI, and at the same time, we actually do have that natural language learning. You can ask the system, "Hey, I'm looking at again for Panera Bread. What kind of glass are we selling?" The system will be able to respond. So we're training the next generation of sales team to
Yeah.
be able to say, "I've learned from those who've been in this industry for a long time," because we're all going to learn together.
Great project. Awesome. Congratulations. Real quickly, why don't we go into the other project? One of the things I noticed about your background is here at Don and your Randa and some of these other companies, you worked a lot with supply chain.
Right.
And you can't turn on the news now without hearing about supply chain, right? And it's always been a major issue, supply chain. And as I recall, you won some awards before where you, at a previous company, I think it was at Randa, where you actually did a supply chain optimization. You were early on getting into some of the cool stuff that we're hearing about now,
Yeah,
correct?
we really jumped on that at Randa. Randa Apparel and Accessories, we're the number one belt company in America and also
Uh-huh.
owned Hager Clothing. Before COVID, and we're really lucky that we jumped on this very early on, we looked at our supply chain and realized it's not optimal, both for our own factories and our partner factories. Being able to get them the information they needed quickly, being able to have them be able to look and say, all right, from conception to delivery, where is the product in the life cycle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Quality analysis. Are we doing our quality checks? Are they doing their self quality checks? When the product's going on the boat, how are we getting it through customs quickly? Where is it on the boat? When's it going to arrive? When COVID hit, we knew
You knew where
exactly
stuff
where our
was.
ships were. We knew
Yeah.
where our ships were. What was really exciting during COVID, we were able to redirect some of our containers through the Panama Canal and come in on the East Coast. West Coast was backed up in America. Long Beach
Wow.
had a long 2, 3 month backlog. We got things through the Panama Canal over to the East Coast, redirected some of our containers. It really optimized it and got engagement. We reduced communications. At the time, we were doing emails, could take 30, 40 emails,
Yeah.
a team of people staying on top of orders every day. We got that down to a small team, about a third the size, and really optimized the communications. We knew we were early in RFID with some of our
Yeah.
products,
So you were saying some of the
not
stuff you actually
everything.
had done that. Yeah.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
of the products. And everybody loves because with Amazon nowadays, everybody acknowledges, I know exactly how many stops away my truck is. That was early on for us. We were just starting that. And we could do, I think it's called digital tweening, where you actually
Yeah.
know where your boat is. Where is the product in the process? Is it in the factory? Is it in on containers? Is it in the port? Is it from the
Yeah.
port into a truck?
And you can
Very
see
early
it
on with that.
visually.
Yeah,
Yeah. You can see it
visually see
visually.
it and
Yeah.
track it. So,
That's so
you know,
cool. It's like futuristic stuff. I always think of like, I think it was a movie. What's that guy's name? Denzel Washington was in a railroad movie. It was a runaway train.
Oh yeah, Unstoppable with
Yeah, was
Denzel
that it?
Washington.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I
yeah.
think of they had the trains on the system, and I always think that's digital twinning. Everybody
That
knows where
is,
it is.
that is.
That's digital twinning. That's so cool that you were involved in that at an early stage. Well, it's all obviously Amazon's the thing everybody talks about right now because they are so amazing. But the fact that you were involved in that early on, you understand that. So that it's just another testimony why you've done so well in your career for these
Well,
companies.
thank you. Yeah, we're even looking at here at Don. At Don,
Yeah,
we deliver to restaurants twice a week, and everybody wants to know, hey, when are you guys going to be at the
right.
dock?
You're
So
in that
we're
business
working on,
delivering stuff. Yeah,
yeah, we're working on, some people call it Where's My Truck? We call it Where's My Order?
yeah,
And we're going to be proactively alerting people, hey, we're going to be at your dock in 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
perfect.
That way people
Get
can be
ready. We're
ready
coming. Yeah.
to you got to move your crews.
Well,
They're working in the restaurant,
the
getting
stuff
ready.
that you're delivering is heavy and it's big,
Yes.
and they got to get ready for it. So that's actually a really good service. I get that.
Yeah.
So
So
that's great.
building on success with my team. My team is really the ones who are making this possible. Looking at how did we do things in the past? How do we measure the pain points of the today? And they're looking at what can technology help us to do in the future. So a big shout out to my team who really make this possible.
Well, thank you for that. That's a great way to close. I'm really happy to have you on our board of advisors. I know you're going to be sharing a lot of insights with our national and global community online, plus in person when we do some events. We're going to do these quarterly AI and the enterprise events. So, Tim, it's been great to talk to you. Really appreciate you being involved in our community and just had a great conversation.
Well, great. Thanks for the time today, Alex. Talk to you soon.